we've talked about it before because it's an issue that has come up, and that's in relation to the vote that was taken and passed, and the placing of a crucifix on the wall of the new Kerry County Council chamber. A number of different organisations have expressed support and some unhappy with it, given that the view is from many people that the council chamber is a secular office that's meant to be representing all people in Kerry, regardless of their religion, and the unease that would be felt that one particular religion is being placed above others in the context of the role of a local authority. One of the organisations that is unhappy with it is Atheist Ireland. Michael Nugent is their director, and he's on the line because he's meeting on Taoiseach and Kenny next Tuesday. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, I understand, and we'll talk a bit about your latest letter to Kerry County Council in a moment, but you're meeting on Taoiseach and Kenny on a wide range of issues that your organisation is concerned with.
We are, and I'd have to say there, in terms of the Kerry decision, in fairness to Kerry County Council, they're not alone. It's an invisible type of discrimination that most people just seem to see as normal in Ireland, but actually it's reflective of our constitution, our education system, various laws and practices, all of which discriminate against atheists in a way that most people don't even notice, and we'll be raising all of those issues with the Taoiseach.
Okay, will you be raising specifically and using Kerry County Council as an example in your discussion with him?
It's one of many examples. The decision was taken on the basis of a motion saying, in light of our Christian faith and the strong Christian values contained within our constitution, and that's not what public bodies should be about. They shouldn't be about reflecting one particular religion. Our constitution itself has a range of things. The President and members of the Council of State and judges have to swear a religious oath. We have the law against blasphemy. We also have our education system, which is run effectively by over 90% of the schools by the Catholic Church, with an integrated religious curriculum that breaches the human rights of atheists and indeed minority faith parents and their children. And the UN Human Rights Committee has repeatedly told Ireland that they're in breach of human rights by giving preference to one religious belief over other religious beliefs and non-religious beliefs, and so we'll be raising all of those issues, and the Kerry crucifix is just one example of that.
What kind of a response are you hoping for?
Well, we're patient people. We realise that things aren't going to change overnight, but what we're hoping is that the Taoiseach will realise this is the first time ever that an atheist group has met the Taoiseach in Ireland, and we're hoping that
Hold on a second. Is this the first time ever?
It's the first time that an atheist group, that a formally atheist group, has met the Taoiseach of Ireland. And what we will be hoping to impress on the Taoiseach is that he is a man with a vision of Ireland's place in the world, and he stood up to the Vatican on the child abuse issue. He has promoted Ireland as a good place and a modern place to live internationally. Now, part of that process is that we should be a country that respects all of our citizens equally. Now, we would be as opposed to a government that promotes atheism as we are to a government that promotes religion. We think that governments should stay neutral on these issues, and individuals' rights as either Catholics or Buddhists or Hindus or Muslims or as atheists to have their own particular religious or non-religious views should be a matter for themselves and not a matter to be promoted by the government.
How are you going to respond when people say, look, this is a Catholic country, he is the Taoiseach of the country? I know he said before in the past that, look, I am a Catholic, but I am a Taoiseach first for the country who happens to be Catholic, but all of the arguments that are made in relation to the historical background to this country and the position that the Catholic Church holds, that we can't just throw all that out overnight.
Well, nobody's asking people to throw out their beliefs. People are perfectly entitled to believe whatever they want to believe. But in order to respect equally everybody's beliefs, the state should remain neutral. That's all we're saying. We're not saying that people should not be Catholics. People who want to be Catholic, they're perfectly entitled to. But I'll put it to you this way. If it was the case, let's take any one of those examples. Let's take the schools as an example. If hypothetically there was even one school in Kerry that actively taught that there was no God, I don't mean a neutral school, one that actively taught that there's no God. And if there was even one set of Kerry parents that by force of circumstances had to send their child to that school because it's the only school in their locality, they would immediately realise that it's a breach of their freedom of conscience to have to send their child to a school that taught the child that there was no God. Well, all that we're saying is that it's the same for atheists. You know, we have the same freedom of conscience as religious people have, and if we're living in a country where everybody is treated equally, then the state should treat everybody equally and not.
But aren't the provisions there for those children to opt out of the religious class?
There are indeed, but the various international human rights treaties have found the right to opt out is not merely enough, that the government has a positive obligation to respect everybody's beliefs equally. Let's go back to the other example I used. If you had a school that actively taught that there is no God and your child had to go to that and you were told, well, it's okay, you can drop out of that class, but that means you're going to be isolated from the rest of the children, you're going to seem like some sort of strange child among the majority. That's not the way to run a school.
Is that necessarily going to happen though, Michael? Is that necessarily what's going to happen in practice? Would it not be even educational for the other children to say, well, look, they come from a family who don't believe in God, or they come from a family who are Muslim, they come from a family who aren't Catholic, that's why they're opting out. And then the other children would be informed that, look, other people have other beliefs. The Catholic way isn't the only way, and it becomes part of their growing up and their education to make their own decisions for themselves about their faith. And it isn't just the way it was when we were growing up, that there's one religion, we're all Catholic, we're all in class, and you learn your catechism.
Yeah, and that would be fine. That's the way that it should be. The children should be taught that these are the different beliefs that different people have. But it shouldn't be taught that the default position is Catholic and here's the other things that other people believe. It should be starting from a position that here are a range of different beliefs that different people have. The other difficulty is, of course, that religion, because of the rules for the primary school, religion is integrated throughout the whole curriculum. So even if you do opt your child out from the formal religious education classes, they're still going to be singing hymns during music, they're going to be told that God created things during nature classes, etc.
Okay, Michael, the situation, can you update us what the situation is with your own correspondence and your own contact, and maybe if you are making formal complaints of any kind about what Kerry County Council have done by placing the crucifix in their chamber?
Well, we sent them a letter a while ago asking a range of things. We asked them whether they had investigated whether it breaches the Code of Conduct for councillors and the Equal Status Act and the Employment Equality Act. They replied, and they didn't answer that question, but they said that they were relying on the Lauzzi case, which is a European court case.
In relation to the school in Italy.
Exactly, that a crucifix could be hung on the school wall in Italy. But it's not really relevant to this particular case, because the judgment there was because it wasn't intended to be a religious symbol, whereas in the Kerry Council they're saying that it is intended to be a religious symbol. They're saying in light of our Christian faith. So we wrote back to them explaining our analysis of that and asking them to come back to us. We've also asked them, until they remove it, we're saying that it should be removed, we're saying until they remove it, that if they do want to have religious symbols, that they should also contact other religions around the country and offer to put up symbols of the other religions as well, if they do feel that it is appropriate to put religious symbolism in their chamber. The other thing that we're doing, obviously because we want to get the views of people in Kerry, is we're having on Saturday the 21st of February, we're having an information table in the square in Tralee from noon until 2 o'clock, and then we're having a lunch afterwards that anybody's welcome to come to. So if anybody wants to meet Peter Hinchliffe, who's our local representative, and the members in Kerry to find out directly what we're doing and why we're doing it, that's an opportunity to do so. Okay.
And Michael, if we contacted Kerry County Council in relation to that, you asked them a number of questions along the lines of what you talked about. They said they received your correspondence and will be responding, but haven't said anything more for the matter at the moment. If you don't get the answers that you're looking for, will you be taking it further in terms of a formal complaint?
Yeah, we'll be doing whatever is necessary to take this further. Look, as I said at the start, unfortunately in Ireland, when you're trying to change things politically, you have to be a patient organisation and patient people. So we'll follow this through for as long as it takes to allow them time to consider what they want to say, and then we'll respond to that. But ultimately what we're saying is we want our human rights respected the same as everybody else, and we will do whatever it takes to have that happen in favour of everybody, not just in favour of ourselves. We're not looking for an atheist council, we're looking for a neutral council.
Okay, Michael, listen, we're going to leave it there, but thanks very much for talking to us on the programme this morning. That is Michael Nugent there of Atheist Ireland, about his meeting with An Taoiseach Enda Kenny next Tuesday, the first time an atheist organisation has met an Irish Taoiseach on the issue of human rights, the issue of what they feel is being done wrong in terms of promoting one religion over the other, and they will be raising the issue of the crucifix in Kerry County Council.